The Shadow War: Israel's hunt for Yahya Sinwar. Yahya Sinwar was not just another name on a hit list. As the leader of Hamas in Gaza, he was a symbol of Palestinian resistance and a thorn in Israel's side. For years, Israel had sought to neutralize Sinwar, considering him responsible for countless attacks and a major obstacle to peace. This relentless pursuit was a shadow war, fought in the murky world of intelligence gathering and covert operations. Israel's intelligence agencies, renowned for their prowess, worked tirelessly to track Sinwar's movements. They utilized cutting-edge technology, including surveillance drones and signal intercepts, to monitor his communications and pinpoint his location. The United States, a staunch ally of Israel, provided critical intelligence support, sharing satellite imagery and intercepted communications. This collaboration was crucial in building a comprehensive picture of Sinwar's network and movements. The hunt for Sinwar was not merely about revenge, it was about crippling Hamas's command structure and deterring future attacks. For Israel, capturing or killing Sinwar was a strategic imperative. However, Sinwar was a master of evasion, adept at operating in the shadows and using decoys to throw off his pursuers. He was acutely aware of the constant threat to his life and took elaborate precautions to avoid detection. This made the task of finding and eliminating him exceedingly difficult. An unexpected encounter, trainee soldiers in the line of fire. In a twist of fate, it wasn't seasoned special forces operatives who ultimately found Sinwar. It was a group of young Israeli soldiers, still in the early days of their training, who stumbled upon him in the midst of a routine patrol. They were stationed in southern Gaza, an area known for its volatile mix of Palestinian militants and Israeli settlements. Their mission that day was unremarkable: to patrol a designated area and report any suspicious activity. They had no idea that they were about to walk into a confrontation with one of the most wanted men in the Middle East. As they approached a seemingly abandoned building, they noticed unusual activity, figures moving furtively in the shadows. Their training kicked in. They immediately reported the sighting to their commanders, suspecting the presence of militants. Little did they know, they had stumbled upon Sinwar's hideout. What followed was a tense standoff. The soldiers, though inexperienced, reacted with remarkable courage and discipline. They followed their training, taking cover and establishing a perimeter around the building while awaiting further instructions. Confirmation and chaos, identifying Sinwar, and the aftermath. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the dusty landscape, the order came to storm the building. A unit of elite Israeli commandos, alerted to the situation, arrived on the scene, ready to apprehend the suspects. A fierce firefight ensued, the silence of the desert night shattered by the deafening roar of gunfire and explosions. When the dust settled, Israeli forces entered the building, cautiously making their way through the rubble and debris. It was then that they made the stunning discovery: the body of Yahya Sinwar, riddled with bullets, lay lifeless on the floor. Confirmation of Sinwar's identity sent shockwaves through the Israeli military and intelligence communities. What began as a routine patrol had morphed into a momentous event with far-reaching implications. The news of Sinwar's death spread like wildfire, reaching the highest levels of government in both Israel and Palestine. The immediate aftermath of the raid was chaotic. Celebratory gunfire erupted in some parts of Israel, while sirens wailed in Gaza, as Hamas vowed revenge. The fragile peace that had held for a short while was shattered, replaced by a renewed sense of fear and uncertainty. Section 4, Israeli Jubilation, Hamas fury reactions to the assassination. The news of Sinwar's death was met with jubilation in Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hailed it as a major victory in the fight against terrorism, praising the soldiers involved for their bravery and lauding the intelligence agencies for their relentless pursuit of Sinwar. Across the political spectrum, there was a sense of relief and satisfaction. Sinwar's assassination was seen as a significant blow to Hamas and a powerful deterrent to future attacks. It was a moment of national unity, a rare occurrence in Israel's often divided political landscape. However, in Gaza, the mood was one of rage and grief. Sinwar was more than just a military commander, he was a revered figure seen as a champion of the Palestinian cause. His death sparked widespread protests, with thousands taking to the streets, chanting slogans against Israel and vowing revenge. Hamas, reeling from the loss of its leader, swore to avenge Sinwar's death, promising to unleash a wave of attacks against Israel. The group's military wing, the Izz ad-Din al-Qassam Brigades, issued a statement declaring, "The blood of our martyrs will not be shed in vain. our response will be swift and painful. Section 5. The long-game implications for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The assassination of Yahya Sinwar marked a turning point in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. While it dealt a significant blow to Hamas's leadership, it also extinguished any hope of a negotiated settlement in the near future. The cycle of violence, deeply ingrained in the fabric of the conflict, was reignited, pushing the prospect of peace further into the horizon. In the aftermath of Sinwar's death, both sides braced for a new wave of violence. Israel deployed additional troops to the Gaza border, anticipating rocket attacks and possible infiltration attempts. Hamas, for its part, began stockpiling rockets and preparing for a prolonged confrontation. The international community, caught in the crossfire, condemned the assassination and called for restraint from both sides. However, these pleas fell on deaf ears, drowned out by the drums of war beating ever louder. The assassination of Yahya Sinwar, while a significant victory for Israel in the short term, threatened to plunge the region into a deeper abyss of violence and instability, the long-term consequences of which remain to